In order to be able to buy or configure machinery, a shop has to be placed on the map. Import the shop building from the prefab window and place it on an adequate spot. We will create a new transform group, rename it to Shop Area, and place it next to the shop. Now, we will need a starting and end point for the shop area. Add another transform group. Rename it to Area Start Point, set it as a child of the shop area as well, and set its position to 0, 0, 0. This way, it'll be in the same position as the shop area. Copy and paste this group, and rename that copy into Area End Point. By placing this copy as an additional child of Area Start Point and setting the values to 0, 0, 0 once more, it will be in the same position as well. Now, change the x-axis value to 50, and the shop area will have around 50 meters of space. Next, we will select the Area Start Point and add another onCreate script callback in the User Attributes window. Rename the new attribute to basemission.onCreateStoreSpawnPlace and press Enter. This will now serve as the place in which new equipment will spawn and can be reset to in the game. We should also add a vehicle shop trigger, through which the player can enter the shop menu when walking up to it in the game. Open the Prefabs window and import the shop icon. Place it on the map next to the shop building. And create a cube through Create, Primitives, and Cube. This will be our actual trigger around the icon for the player interaction. Move it around the placed shop icon and change its size accordingly. Rename it to Vehicle Shop Trigger and set the shop icon object as its child. Now create an onCreate script callback with the name shopTrigger.onCreate for it. Since we do not want the cube to be a visible object, but instead a trigger, let's select it. Then activate the Rigid Body checkbox in the Attributes window and click on the new Rigid Body tab. Be sure to check the collision and trigger checkboxes and set the collision mask value to 300,000. This will make sure the trigger works on collision with our player once they walk into it. Be sure to click on the Shapes tab next and check the non-renderable box. The trigger will now stay invisible in the game. We still need a selling trigger and an area on which the player will be able to open up the vehicle selling and configuration menu. Create a new transform group called Vehicle Selling Point and place it near the shop. Now import the Trigger Icon Cell object through the Prefab window and create another trigger with the name Cell Trigger, just as we have done before for the shop icon. Set the Trigger Icon Cell Trigger as a child of Cell Trigger and set both as children of the Vehicle Selling Point. Now we will have to create yet another script callback for the vehicle selling point. So select it and add another onCreate attribute with the name vehicle_selling_point.onCreate to it. The last thing to do is to create the vehicle area and some visible markings for the player that show where the trigger is located at. Create another cube. Rename it to Sell Area Trigger . Set it as a child of vehicle selling point and change it into a trigger with a collision mask of 4E02000. Now import the trigger markings prefab. Set it as a child of the just created Sell Area Trigger and put it into the parent's location with 000 as well. You can still adjust the trigger size afterwards if you like. Finally, a selling station is needed for the player to sell his crops at. Open the Prefabs window to import an adequate selling station and place it on a desired spot. Remember to check the modmap_items.xml file again afterwards and change the paths, coordinates, and angles as necessary for the selling station to work in-game. Delete the selling station object from the scene graph again once you are finished.